All right, let's talk about Andrew Tate. I don't know how much you've talked about, or this whole phenomenon maybe took place when you were on your break.
Yes.
Oh.
Okay.
Literally, okay, I left, and throughout that month, that's when Andrew Tate became more popular. And then I think God did me a solid. For real.
Seriously?
Right before I came back, Gonzo. So, you know, save me the hassle of talking about all this, but all right, let's get into it.
So you were following it all. So what was your thoughts on watching that all happen from afar?
I think a part of me, low-key, I was like, you know, it was like seeing the incels rise up again. I was like, I need to come back right now. The people
you wanted
need
to come
saving.
back. Interesting.
Maybe that's the only reason he even had his rise. You were the bulwark, and without you, all of a sudden,
when we needed the avatar the most.
Yes.
I think to me it just made me really sad because I thought as internet users we had kind of moved past this sort of talk, this sort of misogyny, this sort of rhetoric. And to see it come back and rise up in such a massive manner, I guess was, just surprising and kind of sad to see, especially in regards to the harassment that it resulted in. But something that I think people don't discuss enough is clearly there must be a lot of, especially young men, who for some reason resonate with what Andrew Tate is saying. Why is that? And are there any takeaways that we can take from that in order to not have things snowball so far out of control in the future?
Right.
Yeah, that's a good question. I also agree. I didn't know I didn't know this thing was even brewing. I mean, you see a lot of small fries like Fresh and Fit who are like small-time misogynists. And Rollo Tony Browntown, who's like an even smaller town misogynist. But Andrew Tate is like just became so big. And I agree. I don't know. Obviously, he's a symptom of a problem.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure why young men in America or around the world even are so fucking dissatisfied. Or,
you know what I think it might be, actually? I think there might be some things he says, because obviously I really have not seen much of his content, so I'm kind of going off of the reactions of people. I think there must be some things he says, just like general life advice perhaps, that does resonate with people or provide value. But then I think he takes it too far, sometimes as a gimmick or for the memes or for the laughs or for the whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I guess to me, it just shows like young men must not have many people to listen to or many people that are giving them advice like this.
Role models.
Yeah. Many role models that are kind of guiding them. And I'm sure, like, you know, there are issues that both genders face. And clearly young dudes, you know, they need some assistance, I guess. I don't know.
But what is wrong? Are they not getting enough love at home? You know what I mean? Are men not being nurtured by their fathers?
And
they might not be.
Yeah, they might not be.
Ever since it became such a big thing, like the more we talk about it to people in our life, not on the internet, just people, they all have a story of like, oh yeah, this guy was just telling me that he really looks up to Tate.
Yeah.
And so it really reached like a lot of people.
Exactly.
It's
And when I
crazy.
hear stuff like that, I'm like, I'm curious what content of Andrew's that they're
they liked.
referring to.
Yeah,
Because I feel like there's such a spectrum. I don't know.
Well, that's the self-help aspect is so like generic. Anyone can do it, you know, deliver the same fucking
But I think
tried and
probably
true
like
self-help stuff.
nice people deliver it in a nice way, and he delivers it in a very sensationalized manner, which works for some folks.
Well, it's nice to think that everything bad in your life isn't your fault. I mean, Jordan Peterson does the same thing. But I don't know. I don't know if men from this generation, like, didn't get enough fucking love. Like, women or young girls, their parents nurture them. In general, I'm being general, but I think it's true where young girls see an affection, and specifically from dads, let's say, that young boys, maybe that's not as true now. I think that's changed a bit, where people my age and younger are feeling more comfortable being sensitive and loving to their boys. But I wonder if boys did not get enough nurturing. I really do.
I don't know.
You know, aside from just parental nurturing, I wonder what friendships between men ages like 14 to 21 look like. I'm really curious.
Right.
Because I feel like when I see guys who have really healthy friendships, people that they can be vulnerable with, people that they can talk to, people that they can hug every now and then if they need a hug, I feel like it makes such a difference in just like how well-rounded they are as a human being.
That's very true. But again, it's like,
You guys need to bring on like a 15-year-old Andrew Tate fanboy, interview him, see what's up, extrapolate some information.
we've seen them. They're just like him. They don't fucking listen. Like Sneeko, I've heard him debate people.
He just
He's
calls all
older,
ugly,
though.
I imagine.
And he's older.
He's older, but he's not as old as me. But I think they're just, I mean, it's like almost like a MAGA level of delusion, like cultish delusion. Like there's really, once they've fallen into the Tate hole, there's almost no sense. They've lost all sense of.
It makes me kind of scared being in an industry that is like so adjacent to that, like gaming, streaming. I don't know.
Yeah, but I think there's a lot of toxic masculinity, which I'm sorry, Jordan Peterson. Toxic masculinity. What the fuck does that mean?
Your impression is so good.
Thank you. Finally, somebody admits that. Everybody makes fun of my.
It's okay.
No.
What is the meaning of just?
No.
The
is
other
it
one.
just the other? Well,
Yeah.
wasn't as good.
Fuck you.
What did I do? What happened? Fuck you, Pokey.
You got the other line on point though.
Pokey, fuck you. What toxic masculinity?
You're doing it
What
wrong.
does that mean?
Yeah, but I think toxic masculinity really just comes from men not being nurtured enough. I do.
I
That's-
see
that's
people
my
in
opinion.
the chat resonating with that, and there's like, here's a couple saying,
Like,
I mean-
think back, young men or men my age, think back to how your dad, my dad was fucking not, my
Yes.
dad would never tell me like he loves me, just like that, for example. Not that I didn't know, but I mean, you know, like there's no fucking personal loving connection there. And I think it was
dilf?
like that for all my friends and their dads too. It's like, you know, it's this old school thing of the men go to work and are emotional black holes and we just provide. And it's the mother's job to nurture the boys. But that's just half of the fucking boys need their dads a lot.
I think guys need, I don't know if this sounds weird, guys need love from guys too. If it's your dad, if it's your friends, if it's your, like, you need to have other men in your life that you can speak to, honestly, share your troubles, learn from each other, grow together.
This is daddy issues, I think, is what we're seeing manifested.
And you know what else I think it is? I think there's been such a like female empowerment movement that when you're young, if you're like a 12-year-old boy, you don't really understand the history of the women's movement or why women say certain things or express certain difficulties that they go through, why other women support women so much, or why some guys go out of their way to support women, right? It's because of this historic, you know, these issues that we've had in the past. But if you're literally 10 and you see this, you're like, women are treated so much better than men. You know, like you just don't get it. And then I feel like they're fighting back against that a little bit. They're like, wait, there's these double standards.
Yeah,
Things are not fair. When in reality, they don't understand the full context. Yeah.
They don't.
I hope that makes sense.
No, it does. Ela, what were you going to say? Chat is yelling at me. I didn't even
I
hear
was
you.
gonna read a comment and then I lost it. But they were saying like I saw a few that they grew up in such a way that they're doing a lot of like unlearning now and rethinking, and they still need to do it because it's we all grew up like that, and there's a lot of changing to do.
When you as a man come very close to a woman, whether it's romantic or a sibling, and you experience like a real closeness to them, like with Eli, I learned so much from her just about there's certain situations you find yourself in where you don't feel safe around men constantly. It's things that you have to worry about that I totally get. You brought up a lot of good examples that I can't recall. Like what are some examples, you know, that men would never, men like this, they don't even think about what it's like to live like that.
I mean, I think
Like getting
we
in an
were
Uber,
yeah,
for
we were
example.
talking recently.
Yeah.
Just any situation where you're one-on-one with a guy.
Right.
It can be anywhere. It can be just
Elevator,
walking in the street
Uber,
at night.
guys behind
Yeah,
you.
Uber, elevator,
Some
and
dude cat calls you,
Yeah.
having,
demanding attention from you.
like having to have a technician at home. You know.
Oh, yeah, that's scary.
anything that's like one-on-one is really scary. Really
Because
scary.
you hear all these horror stories all the time. If it's a friend, a family member, or a stranger. And so like as a woman, you're constantly being told like, be on guard. And so we kind of have to be.
Mhm.
Yeah. Even like trying to make friends that are guys, you have to be so careful.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like, can I hang out with him one-on-one? Is he going to consider it a date? Is it this? Is it that? Like every little thing you don't want guys to take the wrong way, obviously.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, women are already, even now, being challenged for their rights. I mean, of bodily autonomy. So
True.
it's a little bit.
You know, actually, just to share an experience within gaming that I feel like growing up, I didn't understand women's issues that much because I lived in like middle of buttfuck nowhere, went to a small elementary school, small high school, just grew up kind of like normal, kind of naive. Once I entered the gaming space, and especially once I started blowing up within gaming, that's when I truly started understanding the nuances and the differences in how men and women can be treated, both by men and women. And one of the things that was so hard for me to come to terms with was when I felt like I was being treated unfairly, especially in the beginning, like 2018, 2019. And I could tell, even though I had men in my life and in the industry that I knew so well and that I was close to, I could sense that they had such a fear and avoidance of speaking up for me because they were scared that they would be called a simp or a white
They're
knight
scared
or
of
whatever.
It's the same thing.
And if you think about it, like if you're afraid, I feel like that's so unfortunate. You're scared to speak up for your friend due to their gender. Like as a girl, it makes me think, well, goddamn, I wish I was a guy so you wouldn't mind like backing me up.
they're scared of their fans.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
And it was just such a sad realization to come to, or a sad thing to even be told from people.
Yeah.
Or by people, so yeah.
They don't want to be targeted by the fucking goons out there.
But it's also like the more you avoid that, the more you're letting them win. Like you're letting that narrative win.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, that's part of the reason why so many fucking people hate me on the internet is because I really, you know.
Yeah, you stand up for whatever the hell.
To speak my true thoughts. And there was a time when I would avoid talking about certain things. I was like, oh, my fans are going to fucking be so pissed at me. And I think over time on this podcast, I've been able to shed that thing. And actually, we just cultivated fans who are tolerant of that.
I completely agree.
Because
as a fan, I've seen you guys like over time discuss so many topics, and I just come to understand like one, I think it's amazing that you're not afraid of any topic. You're not afraid to tread on any ground, really. And two, like even if at some point as a viewer I disagree or I don't or whatever, I will still nonetheless respect the fact that you're willing to put your opinion out there. Because a lot of the time it does make a big difference that you're down to talk about those topics that other people won't.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, I think it's part of the problem with why I was going crazy is because I knew that we were garnering a lot of reactionary fans that I fucking hated, and
What do you mean reactionary fans?
like conservative, fucking like
alt-right,
racist,
Alt-right.
yeah, racist.
How?
I was doing like a lot of social justice warrior stuff back in the day, you know, like the AC thing and the humongous thing. And so whenever I would express an opinion that was like a little bit liberal or something, it was like fucking lib bullshit, and it's just turned into this whole thing. And I just realized that I was starting to hate my fans. I was like, these people suck. I don't want to fucking turn into some weird freak that just caters to them. And so
I think that's an important realization to make.
It was, and it was painful. There was years and years of just everybody
Scrubbing
fucking
them out.
hating us. Everybody hating us.
Get out,
I
bro,
mean, you
get
guys know
out.
you were there in the trenches with me, Dan,
The
Zach,
beginning
and
of the
Ian.
podcast was really
Yeah.
rough.
Just,
Yeah, there was some growing pains, I guess you could call it, as you sort of shed the vestiges of that part of your fan base. But
yeah.
you know, we got through it. We came out the other side stronger.
We call them
True.
fallen fans. They're easy to spot. I missed you. Anyway, that's it. But that's
Those are the strongest haters.